Today, we are diving into one of the all-time great adventures, Journey to the West. You know the crew. The holy monk Tang and his disciples are on this massive quest for sacred scriptures. But right now, their entire journey has slammed to a halt. They're staring at a river that looks absolutely impossible to cross. Just let that question sink in for a second. It is the absolute core of this part of their journey. A moment that looks like an incredible stroke of luck turns out to be something else entirely. It's a classic story about deception and what happens when you want something a little too badly. So, here they are. You've got the super devout Tang Monk and his disciples, who are, let's be honest, a real motley crew. There's Sun Wukong, the all-powerful, impulsive bodyguard, Pigsy, who's mostly there for comic relief and snacks, and then there's Wujing, the quiet, observant one. And their quest has brought them to the banks of the Tongtian River, also called the River of Heaven. And it is a huge problem. I mean, we're not talking about just any old river. This thing is a massive, raging torrent. There's no bridge, there are no boats, there's nothing. For a group of people in a hurry to save the world, this is basically a dead end. They are completely, totally stuck. Okay, so now let's flip the script, because deep down in these very waters, there's a pretty powerful demon. And believe it or not, as frustrated as our heroes are on the shore, this demon is actually even more furious, but for a totally different reason. Yeah, see, the demon's original plan had nothing to do with the pilgrims at all. He was getting ready for this big ritual feast where he was going to eat some local kids, but our main hero, Sun Wukong, showed up and completely ruined his plans. So now the demon's just down there, fuming, his prize snatched right out from under him. And this, right here, is where the whole story takes a sharp turn. While the demon is just raging in his underwater palace, one of his subordinates swims up with a little piece of intel that changes, well, everything. You can just imagine the demon's eyes going wide, right? It's like, why bother with an appetizer when the main course of a lifetime just showed up? He learns that eating the flesh of the holy Tang Monk grants immortality. Suddenly, the local kids are old news. A much, much bigger prize is sitting right there on the riverbank. And this is what makes this demon so brilliantly devious. He doesn't just throw a tantrum and give up. No, he pivots. Plan A failed? Okay. This new information lets him cook up a way better, way more clever scheme. He's going to use the river itself, the very thing stopping the pilgrims, as the centerpiece of his trap. So the demon gets to work. And for the pilgrims, what happens next feels like a genuine, honest-to-goodness miracle. But we, of course, know the nasty truth hiding just beneath the surface. The next morning, the pilgrims wake up and they can't believe their eyes. That huge, wild river is frozen solid overnight. A thick, stable-looking sheet of ice stretches from one bank to the other. It's completely unnatural, which should have been their first clue. And here is the genius of the trap. The pilgrims look at this and see a gift from the heavens, a sign that their path is clear. But we know the reality. It's a carefully built lure. It's not a bridge to safety. It's a bridge leading them straight into the demon's clutches. Oh man, they are ecstatic. Tang Monk, who is so desperate to keep moving, immediately says they have to cross now, while they have the chance. There's no suspicion, no one stops to ask, hey, how did a giant river freeze solid overnight? Their desire for a shortcut completely blinds them to all the red flags. And so, filled with false hope, they step out onto the ice, walking straight into the trap that's been laid for them. You can just picture it, can't you? The whole group carefully making their way across this giant, mirror-like surface. Tang Monk is on his horse, his disciples are walking right beside him. And soon, they're right in the middle of the river, as far from either shore as possible. Exactly where the demon wants them. And then, just as they're starting to think they're going to make it, they hear that one sound that nobody on a frozen river ever wants to hear. It happens in a heartbeat. The ice just disintegrates beneath them. Everyone goes down into the freezing water. The disciples manage to claw their way back to the surface, sputtering and freezing. But when they look around, their master, Tang Monk, has vanished, pulled down into the depths. The trap worked perfectly. In the absolute chaos that follows, we get a crystal clear look at the true nature of each of these characters. The way they react in this crisis tells you everything you need to know about them. So, Sun Wukong, the fierce protector, is immediately frantic, screaming for his master. Pigsy is in a total panic too. But one of them, Sha Wujing, actually keeps his head. Sha Wujing is the first one to put two and two together. Remember, he used to be a celestial general who was punished to live in a river. He understands water, and he understands deception. He realizes instantly this was not an accident. This was a deliberate trap set by that same demon they'd just been dealing with. So when you step back, this one incident perfectly sums everyone up, doesn't it? The demon is clever and adaptable. The pilgrims as a group are way too eager and a bit gullible. Sun Wukong's first instinct is always to protect. And Sha Wujing's real power isn't brute strength, it's his quiet insight and specialized knowledge. Which brings us right back to that question from the beginning. This whole story is a timeless warning. When something seems too good to be true, it almost always is. The pilgrims saw a miracle shortcut. What they should have seen was an impossible situation, a giant red flag telling them something was very, very wrong. And it's just one of the many hard lessons they're going to have to learn on their long journey to the West.